Spider-Man Brand New Day is starting a brand new thing at the box office. What are we talking about? Well, it is breaking records, and records many thought would never be broken. Hey, Avengers Endgame, it's looking like you might not be number one anymore. And guess what? Spider-Man Tom Holland just might be crossing $400 million. No, seriously, at the box office. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a joy as ever to have you endeavor understanding entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we're going to do today, and we need a guy with us right now. Jonas J. Campbell, get in here. What a huge thing we're covering today. Folks, smash the like button. Jonas, I've seen it. We scored it at a 9.7 out of 10. It's the highest score we've ever given. There are better movies, but none that I have seen while the channel's been around. There are 10s, but this one is phenomenal. You are going to go see it soon. And Jonas, it's going to reach numbers now we believe that up until yesterday would have seemed completely ludicrous.
It's amazing to me. It's absolutely amazing to me that a movie can come out and does the audience just know that it's going to be this good? Like, we've had anticipation for movies, but when you have the anticipation, the pre-sales, and the quality match up, that's the recipe for $1 billion right there.
Oh, a billion's nothing at this point. Take a look, folks. Spider-Man crushes box office records. This, according to That Park Place, now has a shot at biggest ever $400 million domestic opening. Why are we saying this? This is a crazy number, right? It can't possibly. Well, because it has now hit 70 million on a Thursday alone. 70 million. That places it, by the way, if we go down, that places it, and by the way, it's 72, I think is what they're saying it's probably going to be when they finish the tally later today. That puts it 12 million above Endgame. And Endgame came out at 357 for the entire weekend.
Right.
John, if you run the percentage here, if it runs equal to Endgame, in terms of like, if it just holds where it is above it the rest of the weekend, it's going to end up with like 412 million, which I don't think it's going to do. But that's only because I can't imagine how any movie could make $412 million.
The funny thing to me is they didn't have to pull out all the stops in order to make this movie. I haven't seen it yet. I may watch it and think, I don't see what everybody else that I'm seeing reviewing this film is seeing. But this is not the kind of movie that I would have expected to be the record breaker. It is another Spider-Man. Tom Holland's fine as Spider-Man. He's not my favorite by far. They didn't have to pull in $100 million worth of Robert Downey Jr. and $80 million worth of Russo brothers and bring back the entire staff and catering from the previous Marvel movies. They just had to make a good movie.
Well, here's the other thing too, Jonas. So Tom Holland is a special kind of guy because he had some creative control, and when the first drafts were submitted, he actually helped rewrite this movie. And given what it's doing now, Tom Holland is not only the biggest star in Hollywood at this moment, Tom Holland now commands an incredible amount of respect, I would think, from the studios. If I'm a studio and Tom Holland is going to be in a movie, I'm going to say, hey, Tom, what's it going to take to have you help us with this script at this point? Because if you basically wrote the number one movie in the history of cinema, which this has a very distinct possibility now of doing, wow. It's awesome that they have achieved this. It's just awesome.
It's always fascinating too to watch an actor become the steward of their own brand. I didn't know that Tom Holland had it in him personally. Matthew McConaughey went from the guy in all the romantic comedies to being, somebody who could sell movies that were more than just a date night thing.
I guess you could say they're more than all right.
At least as far as performance goes. Or Tom Cruise. At some point, Tom Cruise went from being, some guy who was in a lot of movies. Somewhere in the Mission Impossible phase of his career, he was, doing pretty good for himself. But then he became the current iteration of Tom Cruise that makes us all go, okay, Tom Cruise is involved with this. This is going to be huge. This is going to be big. There's going to be popcorn. There's going to be popcorn buckets, all of those things. but that wasn't his entire career, and it's so easy to rewrite that. Tom Holland has appeared in movies like Uncharted, and forgive me for saying this, when Tom Holland says that some of his movies are defecation, I wonder if he's talking about that one, which looks to be shot kind of like a car commercial. So
Could be.
It's not an inspiring film, except to people who are just, teeny boppers that want to see a cute boy on the screen. I know some people who like that film for that reason. And now, if this guy is going to become somebody who actually a film is not just going to sell more tickets, but better because he's in it, hey, good for you, man. That's an excellent phase of your career to be in.
Now, Jonas, some are going to say, well, Pro, you guys always talk about inflation. So now you don't want to talk about inflation because Endgame would be performing better if you did inflation, like the ticket sales, the number of tickets, the butts and seats. Pro, you guys are holding a double standard. And to that I say, Jonas, no, we're not. I can see why people would think that. However, what is so amazing about this is that Spider-Man Brand New Day is not simply obliterating Endgame, which we never thought would happen. But it's not simply obliterating Endgame because of inflation and, maybe they're running neck and neck in terms of tickets sold. Spider-Man Brand New Day is obliterating the record for best opening night ever without a single IMAX screen. This is like doing this in ultra elite, legendary mode. This shouldn't be possible. Jonas, you're muted, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
And the controller drifts while we're at it. Man, that's amazing. I had no hope for this film. So this is astounding to me. Just goes to show that I'm not the good guesser on the box office here. Everybody was telling me Christopher Nolan was going to have a great time at the box office. Well, sounds like maybe if they have any brains in their head, they'll give Brand New Day some IMAX screens here.
Well, I don't think they're. I think they're contractually forbidden from doing so. But I'll tell you this, Jonas. There's two things about the Odyssey here. One is, I have no idea how you could release a movie against Endgame and survive, and this is bigger than Endgame. So I have no idea how Odyssey can run head to head with this and do anything. Maybe it can, but I just don't understand how that's possible. This is a tsunami. The other thing, Jonas, I'd love to hear your thoughts on. One other thing, real quick, is this is making a mockery of everybody who came out and said, the Odyssey is a 10 out of 10. It's the best thing ever. Oh, you got to go see it. Oh, I've not seen a movie this good in years. This movie over here, this movie is better. It's doubly better. It's triply better in every possible way. So the people who came out and said, oh my gosh, the Odyssey. This, folks, is a great movie. And there's no way, if you gave Odyssey a 10, what are you going to do? You're going to give this a 15 now? Because that's where they are. That's where those people are now.
Yeah, I'm chuckling at this. The thought that I have, and I haven't seen Odyssey. I have no interest in seeing the Odyssey at this point, even though someone has made it to where I can essentially see it for free at this point if I wanted to. And maybe. So what if this film ends up doing better than Endgame? I mean, Doomsday, whatever we're
possible.
The next Avengers.
There's no question now. Doomsday, there's no way. This is Spider-Man versus Endgame. Doomsday is out. Like, there is no way that it's going to beat this. And if I'm Disney right now, if I'm Kevin Feige, if I'm Josh Tomorrow, I'm calling Tom Holland and saying, whatever it takes for you to come in and give us 15 to 20 minutes in the next film, like in Doomsday, we will do anything. Anything. What do you want? Anything. Anything is currently on the table for you to come in and be Spider-Man. Because after this, we will be the biggest idiots in the history of Hollywood if we come out with a Marvel film following this up that doesn't have you in it.
I couldn't agree more. Who else do they have? This one's homegrown too. So this is a guy who has a career outside of Marvel. And he's got the charm, and he's got the attention because of whatever the Zendaya relationship is. He's got a fan base, so
he does.
Good for them. This might actually be the kind of star that Marvel has been hoping to get for a very long time. So back up the money truck, drop it.
That's
off
right.
At the Holland Zendaya household. I hear they're using parentheses now.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Holland doesn't do the Hollywood scene, married in secret. He's got a self-promotion of his brand, which is an alcohol-free beer in the movie. Tom Holland, something is going on here. He's Chris Pratting right now. There's something going on where he is this. I'll sneak this in. The moral of this movie is just about the most Judeo-Christian thing that I have seen Hollywood put out in decades. Folks, let's talk about it. We've got a spoiler review with the rest of the panel. We're going to kick Jonas out. We're going to bring in Marv and Ron and Culture. Let's talk about what makes this movie so special. And Jonas, before I kick you out, Jonas.
Yeah.
Go see the movie.
as soon as I get out of all this work, man.
All right, folks, we're talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. New movie just came out, and we're talking about whether or not it is the best superhero film of all time. It is a spoiler review from all the four of us who have seen the film, so it's time to discuss it. Let's just dive straight into the crux of the matter here. Guys, this is a movie that lets us have a villain all the way until the end, and Jean Grey, who is the villain of the film, the way that Spider-Man conquers her is so phenomenally well done. We find out that she's not really the bad guy, that the government forces are the bad guys. Spider-Man finds it out, and he goes to save Jean Grey. She is so distraught after the death of her sister and at the hands of the government. She is so devastated. Her powers are so strong that the way Spider-Man wins this movie is to open himself up to her, allow her to invade his mind into his most intimate memories of deceased loved ones, and let Aunt May talk to her in his place and share with her the things that she had told Peter Parker that make him who he is. Basically, how she loved him into being a good person. She shares that with Jean Grey, and that is the message of the story: is how important it is to love the next generation, because then they will encounter people who haven't had that, and then they can share that love with others. And this is in a Spider-Man movie. I was completely not expecting that, and it's a psychological move there that is just phenomenal. Guys, we'll go into any spoilers you want, but I wanted to share that part in particular, that it's action-packed until the very end, and it's like, I can't save you the normal way. So Jean Grey, go ahead, get into my memories where it hurts the worst, and find out why I miss my loved ones so much because of how amazing they were, and let them touch you. And it's like, wow, what a thing to do in a movie. Guys, your thoughts?
So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a good moment. I also really enjoyed, I loved the sequence where Punisher and Spider-Man fight the Hulk together.
Yeah.
That was like, watching the Punisher fight the Hulk was really interesting. And I like that he starts out as Professor Hulk, because that's the version of the Hulk that he has been since Endgame. And then, when Jean lets go of his mind, he's so discombobulated that the merging of the two personalities breaks, and he becomes the Savage Hulk again. That's the Hulk we've all wanted for so long. So you get pre-Ragnarok Hulk smash Hulk, no banner, only Hulk. Like, I love that. He's just been through this like insane experience, and now all of a sudden here comes the Savage Hulk again. And in the end, he gets arrested. He gets taken to a mental facility.
And it's serious. Like, that's what's important about it. There's no fun about it. It's serious. And yeah, they literally take Bruce Banner to a psych ward. DL Findell has
they show you also, Pro, how much bigger Savage Hulk is than Professor Hulk also.
Oh yeah.
He got big.
DL Findell has a great question. I want to get this. So this is another The Government is Evil Hollywood movie. Gosh, that's a problem for me. It's actually not. So it's there's a rogue federal agent that's running this program. The rest of the government doesn't know what's going on. There's a guy inside who's gone rogue and is basically tormenting and killing people. I mean, it's essentially, they put Fauci in the film.
Oh, that's bad.
They kind of did. Hadn't thought about that until right now.
The DODC is very strange, because it started out as a cooperative project with Tony Stark. He was helping to fund it in the beginning in Homecoming, and it has evolved or devolved into more of a evil organization over time, because each time they reintroduced the DODC, they're worse and worse and worse. And now Tony Stark is no longer there to oversee it. And it's kind of like there is a comparative. It's kind of like if Elon Musk left and government took over his stuff. It could go really, really bad. I will tell you, I personally didn't mind Yelena being in the movie. I was surprised by that. That was a spoiler to me, because when she showed up, I'm like, whoa. I understand the problem.
She just doesn't add anything to the plot. I mean, she's just
the scene was the scene itself
Yelena
was
could be
like,
anybody.
that's weird. But like the like with the first scene where she shows up, I'm like, why did they stage it there? That they were trying to pull for laughs.
In a bathhouse. They stage it in a bathhouse, and she pressures Peter Parker into stripping down into just his mask and underpants, and then he has to get into the bath with her.
Yeah,
and
that's a little weird.
Really creepy.
Yep. But it's a superfluous scene. There's nothing that's gained from it, and you could remove it, and it has no effect on the movie.
Just my favorite.
Reverse the roles, though.
Yeah.
We know that, but it's nothing like Thor. If it was like Thor, I would call it out as egregious, but it's nothing like that. Ron, your favorite thing you were telling us about?
So my favorite. This is a huge spoiler. It's after we have seen Jean Grey possessed MJ, and we didn't know she was possessing MJ, and we thought MJ has started to remember him, right? And then she pulls it away from that. I mean, that is a heartbreaking moment for Peter. But then later on, I don't know if it was Tom Holland. I don't know what the writers. I don't know who was responsible for this writing, but I thought this was a great writing moment where you have that, then you pull the audience away from that, you make the audience mad at Sadie Sink's character, and then later on, MJ finds the letter, like on her own, that he wrote to her, and she confronts him, and it's kind of a heartbreaking scene because he admits that, like, he's been trying to save her life this whole time because he's in love with her, and she's like, I don't know who you are. Like, I wish I did. I'm so sorry, but I don't know who you are.
And I know, Pro, you think that was where she's unnecessarily harsh. I don't think that she's harsh. I think she's just being honest at that point. Like, I didn't find that to be harsh. I was just like, she doesn't know who this dude is. Like, I think all she knows is he came into her coffee shop one time and she was at her party. Like, that's about it. The scene Ron's talking about on top of the building where Jean makes him think that, he's done it. He's broken the spell and she's back. I knew the entire time that that's what was happening. I think everyone pretty much knows when they watch that scene that that's what's happening. And you just feel the knife twist in that scene. Like, it's actually like, that's exceptionally cruel.
It's a scarecrow level thing. Like, that's what I thought when it happened. I was like, wow, this is something you'd see in, like Scarecrow do to Batman or somebody in a movie.
But I'm like, also, like, how do you forgive that? Like, how does he go from that to, like, at the end of the movie being like, oh yeah, I'll be your friend?
Because he realizes
the power of empathy.
Well, he realizes that this rogue guy has killed her sister, and that's what, he's like, wow, she's in severe pain. I'm gonna save the day.
I took away something different than you guys did from that scene, though, on the building.
Okay.
Zendaya actually could act.
And there are parts in this film where I was like, wow, Zendaya is doing things. Yeah.
And that scene was one of them.
I think this movie pushes Tom Holland for the first time we've ever seen. I mean, like, he's actually acting. He's really acting.
Only one that was like, whoa, when did he get so buff? Like he really bulked up.
That wasn't my thought. I know. I agree with you, but my thought was, we got to get out of college because this train has left. Like, we are no longer looking like we're college age. And when we take our shirt off, we look like a 30-year-old, in shape kind of guy. This is not working anymore to be 20-year-olds in college. So get them out of there. Graduate and let's go.
Well, I mean, they did graduate. Like, MJ and Ned have graduated from MIT. I thought that the device of him watching their social media, their Instagram reels and stuff like that was a good way to show the passage of time. I thought that was it basically told you everything it needed. Let
me say something extra positive, because I said this in my own review, but I'll say it here too. I didn't think very much of Destin Daniel cretin because I didn't really admire anything in Shang-Chi except for the action. He did an excellent job of directing whatever material he was given. Whoever the writers did a great job, but what he was given, he did a great job with. And he did through those mechanisms you're describing, Marv, with the reels or whatever it was, and a lot of other shots, including the shots inside the party, and the other things that were in there that showed the passage of time, and the fact that Spider-Man was keeping the two people he cared about as close as he could. And I thought that was so well done. It did interfere a little bit with the pacing at points, but for the most part, I saw what the point of that was, which is why I called it so Gen Z. But I'm not the only one calling it Gen Z, by the way. But I'll just say this. I think that I didn't have to make up things to have nice things to say about the film for the first time in a long time when I do a movie review. I didn't have to say things like, well, it was in focus.
No,
it was well lit.
I thought back to spoilers. I think that Jean Grey having lost her sister is going to be a very fascinating thing. I think she not being found at the end of the film is great because now we know where that's going to go. We're definitely going to get an X-Men reboot. I will say that the end credits scene. Marv, you and I talked about this, what it should have been. Yeah. Go ahead and tell the folks out there what you would have done with a Jean Grey post-credit scene, and then I'll give mine.
Yeah, so what I would have done is I would have had Jean Grey sitting in a diner, like basically on the run and
eating shawarma.
No. So throughout the movie, Jean is jumping from head to head using her telepathic powers. And I would have had the waitress come up to her and give her coffee, and then all of a sudden say to her, Jean, you don't have to do this alone. There are others like you. You could be a part of this. And she's gonna be like, well, who are you? How do you know my name? And she's gonna be like, trust me, Jean. Like, don't worry, Jean. You can do. And she'll be like, what? And then all of a sudden, you just see the waitress go like, and because it's head jumping to the next person, and then the next person in the next booth just says, you're not the only one with gifts, Jean. And then it jumps again to the guy opening the door, and the guy opening the door says, are you coming? And because that's Xavier. And Xavier, the you're not the only one with gifts is an iconic Charles Xavier line from the first X-Men movie. It would show you exactly who it is. Everybody would understand who it was, and you'd be able to introduce the concept of Xavier without having to have him cast yet or to make the announcement yet, because they obviously don't want to do that yet.
And so I like Marv's idea better than mine. I want to say this clearly. Marv's idea is the best one. My idea is just because I imagine what the theater would do when this happens, and I know they would be backflips through the aisles. For my post-credit scene, I would have liked to seen Jean Grey at a diner, and she's sitting there, and somebody sits down next to her, and their fist comes down on the bar, and we see the 3 scars on the hand, and she looks up, and he says, "It's Hugh Jackman," and he says, "I knew a Jean once," and then cut. And that's it. And I think the crowd would just lose their minds. Maybe not. Maybe, but
I was surprised because I was so dead set before I went into this movie that the mutation was actually the symbiote adapting to his body. And then in the end,
I'm so glad they didn't do that. Oh,
that the black costume was just going to come over him, and that was going to be the big crowd pleasing moment. I actually like what they did better.
Yep. So what he's doing here is his trauma and his trying to do this on his own is causing him to become enraged. He's just so furious at, his station in life, trying to do the right thing and never being rewarded for it, really, in the most important ways. And so it's causing the arachnid part of him to overtake the human part. But there's a great part of this where he now has the organic spider or the web shooters, right? And so he's like, well, Peter number 2 had this, and then he goes out to try to do it, and it oozes out of his arm. He's like, oh, this is disgusting.
He's like dry heaving in his mask. That was
so that was good, but just visit on this idea for a moment, because this is where you guys were talking about Tom having some influence in this. They had discussed doing Man Spider along with this. but they backed off that idea.
Too much. It'd be too much body horror.
Exactly. They backed off the idea because they wanted it to be a PG-13 film that they could have kids see. That's why they backed off that idea.
You know what?
Superhero movie for kids. Maybe James Gunn should see this one.
What I love about this movie is it is the antidote to what we've been dealing with. Peter Parker is a good person.
Yeah.
Peter Parker carries the responsibility. He protects others. He's not cynical. He's not mean. Marv, as you told me on the phone,
bitter.
he's polite and respectful to the police officers.
Yes, I loved that they did not demonize the police.
He is a hero. There's not something in him anymore that is immature or bad or mean. He is a hero. He is something to aspire to be. And that comes from a place that he shares then in vulnerability to save the day, which is like, and then he gives his life.
Well,
spoiler, he gives his life to save Jean Grey.
There was a lesson there too, not only for Jean Grey, but for the Punisher. Because at the very beginning, there's a throwaway line about you can't solve every problem with bullets.
Right. Punisher kills him. I mean, and the only thing that saves him from being dead at the end of the film is Jean Grey. He gives his life for her.
I felt like because in the first Spider-Man game for PlayStation, he's very deferential to the police. He works with the police. The police are the good. I'm gonna whip them up for the cops. Yeah. In the second game, the police are stupid and ignorant, and they're never to be worked with. Oh, I got to get out of here before the cops show up. So I was really happy that in this one, he actually even says to the police officer, he's just like, "You guys, the professionals. I'm just a volunteer." And I think in modern times, someone that goes through everything that he goes through, losing his aunt, losing the love of his life, losing his best friend, at that point now you're completely alone and you're isolated. It would turn to bitterness, and it would turn to just like having him be just a terrible person. I think that's what most writers would have done in that situation. They never do that with him in this.
Can I ask all three of you a question?
No.
What did the handshake mean at the end of the movie?
Ron, you take that one.
That was, that from what I could tell, that means Ned is remembering, not knowing that he's remembering, not it's not in his subconscious mind somewhere. Go ahead.
Wrong. No, he's guiding him through the handshake, and when he says that his name is Peter, Ned heard MJ call Spider-Man Peter, so he knows this is Spider-Man.
Well, I think that the handshake, although he's forgotten Peter, he still has the muscle memory of the handshake. That wasn't erased, and so he's like,
yeah, but he's not remembering anything. It's not possible for them to remember.
Right, he doesn't remember doing the handshake with Peter, but he remembers that this is a thing I did with somebody at some time, and you just said your name is Peter. You're Spider-Man, and I know a handshake with you.
Now, okay, one last thing. A lot of people said this isn't a setup for Doomsday.
Oh, it's not a setup for Doomsday.
Why
There's nothing here that's
why are we getting the introduction of the X-Men?
To reboot the X-Men.
That'll be post Secret Wars.
So you think that's why when they screwed up the order, this kind of screwed up the whole sequence of events?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do. And with the post-credit scene with the Spider app showing him out in space, that is him being in Secret Wars. One of my friends thought that meant Tobey Maguire being in Doomsday, and I was like, no, I think that just means
kill everybody anyway.
He's going to be in battle. He's going to be on Battle World.
That post-credit scene is so pathetic.
Bad.
People don't have to stay for it. Just leave. It's not worth it.
What it is.
Watch it on the internet. It's out there already.
Yeah, there's no point in staying.
Yeah.
Ron,
I thought that we were going to get something with Zendaya and her boyfriend, because they brought in the guy that played Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka to play her boyfriend, and I thought he was going to end up doing more than he did.
He might still.
I thought we were going to get something with Zendaya, and then I thought we were going to get something with Jean, but we got neither of those things.
I still, if Jean Grey had been in a diner and Hugh Jackman comes in, look out. And Marv's idea is better from a narrative perspective, but
yeah, he's right.
Yeah. Ron, final thoughts on the movie Spoilers, anything you want to do?
I as much as I loved the fight scenes with the hands, especially after Peter embraced his power, like once Peter embraced his powers, like the new powers, that fight scene with the hand was like amazing to me.
Oh
when
my
he was
gosh,
able
you're
to move
right.
his webs. But at the same time, I had issues with the hand coming in because casual viewers who never saw Daredevil really would be like, "What is this?" But I'm very confused at how they came back. I'm like, I thought Daredevil got rid of him, and what does this mean for? Like, I'm connecting things that probably have no connection, but I'm like, what does this mean for Elektra? Because the last time we saw her,
so the guy
going back in season 3 of Daredevil,
the bad guy, when he's explaining why they're there, you know, in the dialogue and the exposition, he's just doing that. I heard the words coming out of his mouth, and what I really heard was, "You're going to be fighting them later, so that's why they're here."
Yeah, they're here because they're cool ninjas.
That's your backstory.
At the end.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, you're going to fight him later. That's what we're doing. So shut up, Peter.
I loved the montage in the beginning of him fighting all of the. All the different. Was one Black Tarantula? I'm confused about who all of them were, but I loved the montage because you see that he's been actively building this. And again, a little bit of confusion. If it's perfect for anybody that has not tried to keep up with the MCU, but if you try to keep up with the MCU, he was briefly mentioned as a spider-powered villain by Kingpin. But it's like, okay, so he was doing all that stuff during the Born Again arc, and New York is loving him. The Kingpin is hating him. And he was never captured. I don't know. That part's convoluted, so you just kind of have to throw out anything that Disney's done with Born Again or Daredevil.
I had that thought too, because I'm like, well, what's going on with Mayor Kingpin and his anti-vigilante task force in this? And then I realized no one cares because no one watched it, so nobody else is having this.
That's basically it. It really it doesn't matter, which is kind of a good thing. But seeing the Punisher's connection, I do wonder if there's going to be more Daredevil eventually in the next movie. And unfortunately, they nerfed. I keep wanting to see the Kingpin fight Spider-Man, but like a really good version of the Kingpin, and they nerfed him in the last.
It was a great comic.
Well, I'll tell you what this convinced me of is all those new Avengers. Throw them out. Captain America or Captain Falcon, whatever. Throw them out. Put Punisher in Avengers Doomsday, and I'm way more interested now. That version of Punisher combined with this version of Spider-Man, and throw in Hugh Jackman or whoever you want to. I don't care. This is who I want to see. I don't care about any of these other people that are in Avengers Doomsday, and that's why Doomsday's in danger.
Yeah.
Doomsday's in danger.
Mackie and no one cares about any of them.
Right.
Even the Fantastic Four. Don't care.
No, I don't care about Pedro. Give me Punisher and Spider-Man. That's what I want now.
Yeah, I don't want Fantastic Four.
You can throw Deadpool in there too if you want.
Guys, there's no chance.
Deadpool and Spider-Man needs to team up.
There's no chance now that Doomsday beats Spider-Man at the box office. That is gone. This film is going to make so much money, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think we're looking at $2+ billion, and that was what I was going to ask. Do we want to talk about projections and stuff like that?
We can wrap it up that way. Yeah.
Some of the new numbers, I mean, you're looking now because they've added more auditoriums like we were talking about before. We're looking at over 4,400 auditoriums.
Wow.
For Spider-Man, just domestic.
Now, imagine if they were getting the IMAX theaters too, how much money they would be making.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they have to wait 2 weeks for that. But right now, in opening weekend, on Wednesday, which with the Prime Video, preview shows that happen, and on Thursday, today, they're already sitting at $70 million going into a official Friday of the weekend. That's where the numbers look like they are right now. So if we continue to follow that to the end, is it in question that it could open to $500 million or more?
I've seen 800 million.
I saw 800 worldwide floated.
500 to 800 is the prediction.
That's tough.
That's
500 to 800. It would be the second biggest box office opening of all time. If it goes anywhere near 800, it's going to cross 2 billion because it will easily do a 2.5x. This and this is why it'll beat the Odyssey. This is so rewatchable. People are going to go watch this 3 and 4 times.
Well, they're projecting 250 million in China. You're looking at screens opening in other countries already on the 29th, like Mexico, Sweden.
Mhm.
I mean,
When I got
Brazil.
out of the Odyssey, the first thing I said was, I will never willingly sit through this movie again.
Never.
And the first thing I said after this was, I'm actually excited that I get to take my wife to it.
Yep. And watch the Hulk battle again.
There's a comparison too. It's really weird to see Tom Holland in both of those films so close to each other, and I can't stand his performance in the Odyssey. I mean, even though he's a good actor, I just don't like the way it's written, and I can't.
Oh yeah,
I can't stand the modern language, and I don't know. It just
he's not good in the
immediately
Odyssey. He's really not good in the Odyssey. He plays it like he's like they're trying to say that he's like 14, and I'm like, this is clearly like a 27-year-old man.
Yep. Is Tom Holland? He should be about 30 by now, isn't he?
Is he?
I think he's 30.
He's getting up there.
Ish.
I say that like 30's nothing. But folks, here's what we'll say about Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Go see it. Go take people to see it. And don't be so soured, so cynical that you cause yourself not to enjoy this movie, thinking, oh no, it's Marvel and it's Disney and I have to hate it. This is Sony.
Disney.
Right. This is Sony, and this is Tom Holland imprinting what he wants now, because he's such a big star that he can say, I'm going to do this, but if I do this, we're going to make it for the fans. So we got to listen, if you want movies made for you, this is what they're trying to do. This is not Disney, and this is being made with the idea, let's give the people what they want. Let's not subvert their expectations. And this is what they've given.
I hope they take, like, if let's say this movie goes north of $2 billion, which I think that it will. We'll give those predictions in a minute, but I hope to God Kevin Feige and the other people that are in charge of Marvel going forward look at Sadie Sink, look at this, like, give audiences what they want, and write some good stuff.
This is the thing to remember about this movie's success, is that this movie's success is not a good thing for Disney. This is egg on Disney's
right.
face.
Yeah.
The better this movie does, the worse it actually is for Disney.
The more it beats
this is
the more it beats
Disney's
Doomsday.
movie. Yeah.
The more it beats Doomsday, the better.
I think now Disney gets like a sliver of some of the box office for this, but for the most part, it's so this is not like, I've seen some people in the chat say like, oh, Marvel's back. This is not Marvel is back. This is an anomalous good movie made by another studio that's connected to the Disney controlled universe, just like No Way Home was. Don't trust me. Kevin Feige is still doing his same old schlock in the rest of the Marvel universe. So
Sony is doing No Way Home, Brand New Day. You've got Sean Levy doing Deadpool and Wolverine. What is Feige making? What is Disney making? They're making Thunderbolts. They're making Fantastic Four. Folks, let this keep going. Prove to them more and more they have no idea what they're doing, and hammer this home. And the way to do that is see this.
It also destroys their narrative of superhero fatigue or franchise fatigue.
I think it saved the genre.
Is there a Marvel superhero franchise I think Blade and maybe the X-Men are the only ones that have been around longer than Spider-Man.
Let's finish there. Did this save the superhero genre?
I don't think so. No.
You think it had more legs?
I think this is an anomaly.
You think this is I think they can make another Spider-Man movie. If Tom Holland has
I think Spider-Man movies are doing fine. I don't think the superhero genre is doing fine.
Give me a Jean Grey movie. I'll go watch it now.
So you're going to put that Jean Grey in the hands of these Marvel writers who are hacked?
No, I'm not going to go see that. I'm not going to see that. But if Disney will get on their knees and say, Sony, please, you're so good at this. Give us a Jean Grey movie. You be in charge. I'm in. I know they won't, but I'd be in on that.
But then, the superhero genre is way more than just Spider-Man. So you can have good Spider-Man movies. You can even have good Deadpool movies. But at the end of the day, you've still got Captain Falcon America. You've still got the Avengers. You've still got the Thunderbolts. You've still got James Gunn doing what James Gunn is doing. This genre is far from safe.
How about this? The superhero genre right now is being held hostage by Kevin Feige and James Gunn.
Yes.